I don't really like the way that our current society views lust and the constant over sexualization of things. I have no idea what I'm gonna title this video just yet, but I'll figure it out when it gets there. But I'm not gonna lie, um, I think this has always been kind of an issue. I mean, because lust is a thing that obviously exists, right? Everyone has those. Everyone has feelings like that, so it's whatever. Um, I think though the problem is that it's gotten as time has went on. I think it's gotten worse, especially because of the internet, right? With the internet, everything is super accessible. Like you can search literally anything up practically, and you can always find answers or find results and things like that, right? So what comes with that though is because everything is accessible, that means everything can be accessible. And by everything, I mean even the darkest corners of, the internet, right? And like, 18 plus content and gore and things like that. I think with that, it's kind of carried this thing where now there are so many people out in society that have over sexualized so much shit, and it's so fucking infuriating to look at sometimes. Like, I don't want to sound like one of those people that's just like, society, because that's silly, right? I, I'm a human too, so I can't really be like, oh, all humans are whatever, because and even then that's stupid. Not all humans are like that, and I know that. But I'm just saying though is that especially on the internet, when you're hiding behind this face, this mask of what's the word? Anonymity? Basically, you're anonymous. There you go. That's the best way to put it. When you're hiding behind this mask and you're hiding behind the screen where you're anonymous and most of your opinions are unfiltered on the internet, right? With that, people say and can say a bunch of fucked up shit without really any repercussions. And I think it, to a certain degree, it gives people the right of freedom of speech, but with that comes with a bunch of people that say a bunch of ridiculous and fucked up shit, and it's really depressing. I think lust and sexual things like talking dirty or doing whatever has become so normalized. It's kind of stupid to me, because the fact that I don't know, especially with like genuine couples sometimes, like a lot of people, like, listen, okay, if people are like dating or dating over the internet, I don't care. That's not my business, and that in itself I don't even really think is that big of a problem. If someone loves each other, if people love each other, then who am I to say anything about that, right? But like the amount of times that I'll go into like I don't know, I'll play like just a social game or whatever, and then I'll walk in and then I see two people being like, I'm gonna throw it back right now. You're like, bro, what are you, bro, what the fuck? And with me saying this, right, I understand that there are people that like make jokes and do whatever, but when you're making a joke, right, if you cross a certain line, it makes the lines between joke and reality kind of foggy. And so if you're constantly joking about that shit and constantly especially if you're saying like super duper out of pocket shit, then you're just like, gang, like, what are you yapping about right now? And I think it's so strange how normalized that's become, and it honestly kind of makes me irritated. Like, res- respectfully, like, again, right? You know, there's gonna be sexual shit that or sexual things that exist in our world, and like that's just something that can't really be helped. And in fact, like that's just kind of normal, to a certain extent, but it's gotten so bad, and like there's been so many examples of people on the internet just like sexualizing shit and sexualizing people that don't even want to be sexualized. A really recent example of this happening would be like, I don't know if you guys remember that YouTube Shorts content creator Jelly Bean. You listen, and if you guys know that name and you guys are like, oh yeah, her, she's annoying or whatever, that's completely fine. You are entitled to not like someone, right? But there have been people that have like sexualized her OC and have done like crazy shit when it's not even, and it's not even like sexual at all in the slightest. And there are people that still like sexualize that shit and still say really gross and like demeaning, deplorable shit about it. It's so fucking depressing. And again, like, I mean, obviously that situation doesn't involve me. I'm just an observer. I'm just looking at things. I'm talking about it. So obviously it doesn't involve me. But from an outsider's perspective, it's so fucking disgusting. Cause right, listen, you have a right to not like someone. Like, you don't have to like anyone. That's understandable, right? Completely valid. But for you to take that, like, and just be like, oh, like, I feel like more people should care about that kind of shit and like make sure random people don't get sexualized. Because Jelly Bean was getting sexualized when she was a minor as well, which is fucking gross. And like people like that get sexualized all the time, and it's super fucking sad. It's so sad. And a lot of people think it's funny and think it's like hilarious, and it's this constant never-ending repeating cycle of, you have these older people that act sexual and say this sexual shit, and then kids will hear that, right, and they'll kind of like soak it in, and they're like, oh, like this is what people find funny. Because listen, right, when you're a kid, you don't really you don't have full cognitive thought, not really. So you kind of just say what you just repeat what you say, especially when you're young, right? So kids that are on the internet a lot, they'll hear it and they'll go, oh, people find this funny. Okay, let me constantly say this, and then it builds that mind. It's like it lays out the framework for that mindset, and so then they start acting that way, and then they become kind of sort of the problem there, and that is really sad. I think this over sexualization of everything has kind of plagued. Sounds like, I'm not trying to sound like edgy or corny or whatever, but I think it's kind of plagued our society as a whole. And again, like sexual shit or like sexual content and 18 plus content and all that stuff, it's bound to exist, and it existing isn't the bad thing, but it's the fact that people like just it doesn't stay gated in its like respective like in its communities. Like it always gets pushed out to like little kids. And like just to back like again, I've seen so many like genuine children, 13, 14, hell, even some 12-year-olds act in this provocative manner, and it's so fucking gross. It's so disgusting. But it's because they were put in this environment and they don't know any better. And again, you know, at the like, because listen, right, you can make the argument like, oh, I don't know them, it's the internet, it's not really my fault, and like, you know, I should be able to say like whatever I want and like all the things. But people, when a lot of people don't have like a lot, like not a lot, but a lot of people don't have enough awareness for those kinds of things. And so because of this continuous, endless, repeating cycle, it it makes everything 10 times worse, in my opinion. And it's really sad. And you, like, nowadays, even on kids platforms, you constantly see the push of sexual content, right? Or like just really gross content farms, like YouTube Kids, the amount of like softcore NSFW on there is absurd. And even just like normal YouTube, like in general, it's there's so much of it. And again, I get it, right, that some stuff will like kind of go through the cracks a little bit, because you know it's hard to moderate, like because of how many videos get released like every second and minute and day and whatever. I get that, right? But there's like it's just there's so much of it. And even then, the ads that YouTube like pushes out and promotes, holy fuck. I'm not gonna lie. Listen, right? On YouTube, I'm gonna keep it like a full beam with y'all. A lot of the content that I watch on YouTube personally, like I watch a bunch, like especially like here recently, I've been watching a lot of Dead by Daylight content, because Springtrap just got released. I watched some Withering Waves content because I play the game, and like, you know, I watch some commentary videos and I watch some drama videos, whatever, right? And I still get a perpetual amount of ads related to like I don't know. For example, there's this one ad that I get sometimes where it's about an anime game with like big titty anime bitches, and I'm like, bro, why? Like, and it's like, click on this website and like, you know, have the time of your life or whatever. I'm like, bro, I'm trying to learn how to play fucking Springtrap and not Dead by Daylight. I'm not trying to do the try not to goon challenge level impossible right now. Like, what, bro? Again, though, it's all just one big cycle. And I feel like it's just gonna keep getting worse as time goes on. And I feel like this all just adds to the point of everything has become so sexual, and people like, you know, I get people like making sexual jokes or making like whatever, but there are so many times where it's not even a joke anymore. It's just pure like sexual harassment. And it's just bullying. It's just this thing, and it lingers. And a lot of people don't call it out. Everyone thinks, not everyone, but a lot of people just think it's a joke. People think it's funny. People think it's something to laugh at, when in reality, all it is like, it's just this thing that's there and just does more harm than anything else, really. And I think it's gonna affect our future generation as well. And it's really depressing, honestly, that a lot of people don't seem to have that awareness to really like look at it like from a bigger angle and bigger perspective. Because, you know, I get it, it's the internet, right? And people just want to, you know, have fun and do whatever. But I feel like there still should be somewhat like of a level of responsibility to uphold when you have the privilege to be on the internet, or when you're on the internet. I feel like there should be some type of responsibility to uphold, and some people just don't care, and they just say whatever negative shit they want, and they act however they want, and they don't really care who they say it to. And I think overall that just leads to not only a poor mindset, but it leads to a very poor design of our world and a society as we know it.